Hello, this is Alex Calvo Garcia. You're listening to the Iron Hour podcast.
It's Barra here, and you are listening to the Iron Hour podcast, recorded in the wake of the Irons' defeat away at Kings Lynn on Good Friday. Today, we explore the ramifications of that result and the other results at the top of the National League North as Scunthorpe are knocked off the top spot and, in fact, drop all the way down to third with just 2 games remaining. Now, in my wisdom, I thought the best thing to do would be to have an honest and frank assessment with a fan from each of the three title contenders as we enter the final stretch. So I'm pleased to say, first of all, I'm joined by, well, probably the most humble man in football, Brackley Town's Will Grasshoff. How you doing, Will?
Yes, good. Thank you, Barrett. All good. Thank you.
And a man who's probably the antithesis of humble. It's, of course, Wesley Thompson from Kidderminster Harriers. And now,
You
Wes,
Reds.
yeah, I'm also reliably informed, Wes, you've had a couple of red wines.
Yeah, just a few. But I don't need a few. Well, whatever. It was a lovely, lovely Sunday lunch. Lovely Sunday lunch. So, what can I say?
Well, speaking of Easter, Ben, of course, we're hoping for an Easter miracle. See what I did there? It's seamless, isn't it? We're hoping for an Easter miracle, of course, on Monday because we are dropped off top spot now. How are you doing, Ben?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Barra.
Good. Do you want to kick us off then, Ben? Because recording this on Easter Sunday, and it is actually 1 year to the day since your dad's accident. So how's Martin getting on?
Yeah, quite good to be fair. He's now literally over the road from me. So he's in Louth now in Stewton House, which is like a care facility. Um, and he's doing all right. He was able to watch the game, or he tuned in just after we conceded. I think he probably
What a
swiftly.
bugger.
But no, he's able to watch the games, and then he's adamant that next season he wants me to sort out a season ticket for him. So hopefully he can get to a few more again next season. So yeah, he's doing all right and he's doing good. So yeah, he's still heading in the right direction.
You know this, mate, but all Scunthorpe United fans, all listeners to the Iron Hour podcast, of course, send your dad our very best wishes. So all the best, Martin, in your recovery as it continues. Right then, let's talk Monday. Ben, talk to me. What on earth happened?
Um, it wasn't very good. We had a couple of chances. To I mean. We had a couple of chances to put ourselves in a good position. I still think it's probably not that thing that's cost us to the position where we are in the table now. Um, but they had their chance from our mistake, and then the chances we had thereafter, we just couldn't put away. So one of those incredibly frustrating and a bit of a pattern of the last couple of games, especially away from home, really. Um, Losing 1-0, not taking the chances when they've been given to us, and coming up against teams that before they've scored or after they've scored have been really organised and not really look like budging. So a really, really difficult last few away afternoons, to be honest, and evenings at Kidderminster.
Yeah, well, of course. We'll get on to Kidderminster in a moment, but of course the Iron were on the wrong side of a 1-0 scoreline. Now, Will Brackley on the right end of one, another goal. I just need to get this right. Is that George Carline now scoring in,
Yeah,
what's this, his third consecutive game?
yeah, goal machine as well. I think they've all been winners as well. He's been exceptionally good for us this year, George has. So yeah, we were like not overly surprised that he scored again, but he just gets himself in the right place at the right time and seems to put it away. So he's a great guy as well. So really pleased he's doing well.
Has he been, because he's a fullback, isn't he? Has he been playing at fullback or has he been out on the wing?
Yeah, so typically we play 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. He's usually right of three at the back. But he's got a really long throw. So we're quite lucky, but we've got two players on each side who've got really long throws. So he's usually there or thereabouts when we're attacking. So he just managed to find his way into the box and yeah, picks up a loose ball and smashed it in. So yeah, happy days.
Happy days for you, and happy days, of course, for Kidderminster Harriers. Whereas I can see you are chomping at the bit to get involved. It's advantage Kidderminster, isn't it?
Absolutely. Andy, listen, I just want to be polite and say thank you to both Scunthorpe and Brackley for the 6 points last month. It's the reason we're top of the league. So thanks, guys. Thanks for not taking it seriously. So there you go.
We spoke to you last, Wes, before.
Yeah.
What a wanker.
Yeah, he's in. I told you. I was after a little bit of balance. I mean, I'm going to try my best to moderate this.
Good luck. Good luck, pal.
But the last time we spoke, Wes, of course, was before the Irons trip to Kidderminster.
Yeah.
And a lot of the talk was around the fact that if we beat Kidderminster, it would effectively put Kidderminster out of the title charge, because you would have been 11 points behind us at that point. Now that didn't happen. And did you really expect from that moment you would go on such a good run?
Yeah. Because it just happens. It happened 2 years ago, and it happens again today. We've got the players now. We've got the missing links that are in there now. By the way, at the start of the season, all the Harriers fans, I don't know about you guys, but all the Harriers fans were like, we haven't got a goal scorer who can get 20 goals. We haven't got a goal scorer. So we were all crying out for a goal scorer. Ashley Hemmings, Will, I believe you know Ashley Hemmings pretty well. He's got 33 so far this season. And he's got, Andy, you'll love this, he's got 5% body fat.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I don't know what the inference there is.
No, he's just saying that he's a professional, my friend. So
Incredible player. He's a really, really good player.
He's a great guy, and he's my daughter's favourite player. And when he got his hat trick against, I can't remember who it was. He's done it 4 times this season, so pick one. But when we saw them, we were sat in the Agra suite at the top, and we just enjoying a meal. And he came out and he's presenting with the match ball and with a bottle of champagne and stuff. And he was on top of the world. And I said, Molly, do you want a photo with Hemo, favourite player? And she looked at him, and then Hemo said, Molly, do you want a photo with me? And she went, nah, not a chance. And his little face, you may score all the goals, pal, but Molly's not interested in that, mate. Not interested at all. So I'm really looking forward to a sold-out game tomorrow. I mean, would it have been sold out if we weren't top of the league? I'm not sure. But Hereford have got stuff to play for as well, which is great because, Andy, as I said to you, when teams come to Harriers and they try to play, it generally doesn't end well for those teams. So looking forward to that tomorrow. That'd be amazing.
Let's stick with that then. So when the Iron came to Kidderminster last month, did you think the Iron came to play? Because from our perspective, we didn't turn up to do anything other than sit behind the ball and genuinely look like try and get a point.
But is that what you normally do? Or would you normally just go, see, you're in no man's land, then you didn't know what you're doing, to be honest? I said it'd be 3-0, and if Wazza on the wing hadn't been taken out, it would have been 3-0. It was 1-0, and I think is it Andy Butler, the manager for you guys? Yeah.
He stuck one on Phil.
He tried to. When he said, oh, it's just a game. I'd have had him out then. I'd have been like, get rid of him. He's not even that bothered. It's not just a game, mate. Come on. If you'd have got a draw, it would have been, like I said, it was a bit tongue-in-cheek there, 6 points from you guys. But it's true. We just went on a rampage, and we're still on the rampage. So, yes, we found, so it's just been great. And it's a great time to be a Harriers fan. And there's probably been like 4 times in the season where we wanted Phil out, and now we couldn't do any more to get Phil in. So it's all good. It's all great.
Ben, I'm gonna bring you back in because, of course, you were at that Kidderminster game. I don't know if you've missed a game in about 7 years, but what was your view? I know we're going back a month, but for me, that really is the point when things started to change for us.
Yeah, we weren't very good at all that day. And as much as I probably don't want to say it to blow Wes's trumpet, but the Kidderminster were also good value for the win that day. They missed I'm not sure if it was Hemmings, but it was one of the strikers. He missed a really gilt-edged.
Yeah, Amari,
really
header.
Yeah, really gilt-edged chance in the first half.
It was similar to, I would say, Graham Alexander?
Gary Alexander
in
the playoffs. Yeah, it was very similar. Yeah, and then we had another chance. I think it was just before half time that was cleared off a line with Beck, and then apart from that, we weren't great at all. So it was one of those where Kidderminster on the evening, deserved the win. I'm not sure, not convinced that was the turning point for that was the be all and end all for our season. I was adamant that if we would have won at Radcliffe, we would have still gone on to win the league. I think that was a really huge point in our season, and I think that's been the catalyst for us not kicking on, and probably the last couple of games as well, where we've struggled a little bit more.
Well, this is getting to be a bit like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, because we've got the super confident, absolutely two piping hot. We've got the super cold in Ben, who seems to have given up. Are things just right for Brackley at the moment? Are things coming together at the right time?
It's difficult because it's not in our hands, So, like, just getting back to what Wesley said about the 6 points, like Kidderminster are unquestionably been the best team we've played this year by quite some way. They're a full-time team, but that brings with it so many different advantages to a part-time team like ourselves. So, when we played them on the Tuesday a few weeks ago, they beat us. They deserved to win. All of their players trained together the day before. They ate together before the match. Our players were turning up in work bands together. So it's different levels, right? So it's really, really hard. Well, actually, to be fair, we're thankful and we're grateful that we're against two giants, Scunthorpe and Kidderminster, are two great clubs, massive fan bases. You should both be in the league. You should both be in League Two, League One. We should be Sunday League, dog and duck. It's just so different. So. I do feel as though we're lucky to be up there. Of course, we've been the bridesmaid for so many years, but never the bride. It's been horrible. I do feel as though this year, Kiddie will beat Hereford tomorrow easy. I don't think there's any question about that. I think Southport away, they'll beat them hands down. So I think they will end up strolling the league quite comfortably. Scunny, I think where you've not had a striker, and obviously Andy Butler's not been the best with tactics and whatnot, I think it'll be a bit more difficult. I think if we can get second, I'll be really happy because we can play our games at home. I'd much rather play Scunny at home than away. But yeah, like I say, Kidderminster are good. They should walk it. Size of a club, the amount of full-time people they've got there, being able to afford people like Hemmings, being able to afford to bring people like Morrison. I don't think you've lost a game since he's come back in, or you've done so well. And Phil Brown's a Premier League manager, like that level of setup. He was, yeah, of course.
He also managed in India as well. If you're going to go down that road,
but do you know what I mean? Like, having that level of infrastructure compared to us, we've only just got Wi-Fi in the clubhouse, so it's another level. So,
what's he like? Good little striker, plays his number 10 as well.
Yeah, it's Scandinavian.
I was going to say,
yeah. But no, so we're lucky. We're really pleased that we're in the mix for it. And look, for me, and I said this to the wife, I said, look, if we get into playoffs, that's 2 more games. Maybe 2 more games or 1 more game at least, where we can have a good time and enjoy it and see what happens. So, yeah.
I'll just pick a point up there.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go for it.
So full-time, part-time. I've chatted with Phil Brown about this actually on the podcast that I do.
Oh, name drop.
Yeah, hi there, Phil. Yeah. But being full-time is also a bit of a curse, because if you're full-time and it comes to getting players, you don't get the best part-time players. And there's so many great part-time players out there, Will. So we miss out on all them because we can't afford to pay them a wage which would meet their football wage and their job wage, is probably about $3,000 a week or whatever. So yeah, well, actually, no, it won't be that much. It's ridiculous.
No,
but yeah, no.
I do get that. I 100% see what you're saying.
Yeah, so we can't compete with that. So that's one thing. I did hear the manager moaning after the game. Oh, we can't have a meal together. We'll just all go in McDonald's or something, mate. Come on. But then also, when Phil Brown came to Harriers and we dropped down into the Conference North, right? He admitted himself he didn't know anything about the league, and there were a lot of tactical decisions made that shouldn't have been made, and that's the reason why we didn't romp this league, because Phil, he done the noose about it. But now he has, and now he's got it, and now we're making. Got the pill to the dog. Now we're making those changes on. So if we're winning 2-0, he wraps it up straight away on 60 minutes. He's like, right, you want to see make tactical changes that That just great, to be honest with you. Yeah, and yeah,
Hey,
hopefully I've got my Southport ticket, so I'll be there. Fingers crossed. It's only 143 miles away from me, Jesus. So I'm looking forward to that one. That'd be great. Yeah, and also a word on your new place after it burnt down. Will they wouldn't let me in? They wouldn't let me in. They don't let away fans in, do they? In the older,
if
what's
it's
it called?
segregated, yeah, they won't do, especially if they're troublemakers like you, obviously. But
They've
Yeah,
obviously watched
well,
him on the Iron Hour
totally.
podcast,
yeah,
haven't they?
but but
Obviously,
just Wesley, just counter that. So the
Yep.
full time setup isn't just about the player stuff. It's also about people behind the scenes, right? So
Yeah.
myself, I'm head of commercial for Brackley. So I try and do as much as I can in the limited time I have. Sponsored by SBS solicitors. Someone's farted and they're sponsored by someone. That generates so much revenue for the club, which goes back into the playing staff. Right. For us, and as small market town, it's very, very difficult for us to generate the same amount of revenue, but we can do. And another good example, of why it's more difficult being part time. When we went to Chorley and we lost 4-1 on a Tuesday night, the bus broke down on the way. Typically, Kidderminster would have stayed somewhere around Chorley the night before, had a lovely meal, so they wouldn't have had that disruption, right? And it's not making excuses. It's just saying, like, as a part-time club, it's not making excuses, but I definitely am. It's a lot more. It's a lot easier as a full-time club to do to like to have a smooth and good preparation for a game. So look, you're right. Phil Brown has obviously had to learn the league. Absolutely, he's managed an injury. He's managed whole city in the Premier League. He's a very good manager, but ultimately, it makes it a lot more difficult for teams like Brackley, teams like Curzon, and other teams who are part time to compete against Kiddie, to compete against Scunny. I mean,
But Will, you
bleep this
used
out,
to
but
beat us
fuck Chester.
all the time, mate. You used to beat us all the time. You couldn't. I remember coming down to Brackley one. It was a Tuesday night, and we lost 2-0, I think, and we were terrible. And trying to get home, they cut. They're doing roadworks on the motorway. It took me about 6 hours to get home in the end.
Yeah, we can't. Unfortunately, Wesley, we can't control the
I think
roadworks
just
at the
yeah, but I
moment.
think you
Sorry,
did
but
because you were just annoyed at us for turning up. But Will, listen,
if we could, that's exactly what I'd do. But
if you go up and there's like 5,000 away fans want tickets and stuff like every other game, how are you going to deal with that, mate?
well, look at some of the teams in the league above. So, like, you've got Wealdstone and you've got, I don't know, like count some of the teams who
Tamworth would
have
be the best example.
Tamworth, very, very similar facilities. Now we're lucky that we have areas that we can expand and make bigger, like so we can try and facilitate those away fans. Because actually, we're not anti-away fans. We love having away fans in here, for because it makes a better atmosphere. It's nicer, but also obviously it's more revenue coming into the club. So best case scenario for us is we can accommodate as many away fans as we can, and hopefully in turn that will encourage more home fans to come and enjoy it as well. So like we're not the kind of like we're not completely dog and dark on the Sunday league. We do have the ability to expand and make it more hospitable. And look, you're right. When I went to Kidderminster, one of our first games of the season away, Agbra, incredible. Like I was like, wow, like this is amazing. Like how are we playing against these? Like it's incredible. And then when you come back to our ground, it's very humble. It's very different. So I just feel as though if we do go up, we have the ability and we have the foundations to build upon. And sorry, Ben and Barra, I feel like Wes and I have just argued like half an hour.
They're out of it, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even bother with them, to be fair. It's just
That's
pointless
because
having Ben here.
we're just like slipping down. This is but it's turned into us just like looking through the window like some kid without any change or something, looking at a bakery, just thinking about what we could have had.
A rainy day.
Full Homer Simpson meme just backing
Yeah.
into the head.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ben, let's try and talk a little bit about Scunthorpe. I really do want to explore Good Friday's game a little bit because we have a responsibility really to the listeners to talk about it. Within 4 minutes, I think was the first message I put in one of the group chats saying, "We are in the shit here. We will lose this game." And the writing just seemed to be on the wall from kickoff.
Yeah. And as I said, it's just previous. It's a bit of a theme of the last few away games. Kidderminster, another example. It was it was one of those where the fans were really up for it. Obviously, to Kings Lynn, we've took nearly 1,000. Everyone was up for it. Everybody knew how important it was. Um, Obviously, Kings Lynn have a lot to play for as well. So it's one of those where away from home, we just feel like we've just not got it right again. And against teams like that are going near the top of the table, near for the playoffs, they're not going to be a pushover. We're not just going to go there and walk over 2 or 3 nil. I always thought that Kings Lynn would be one of those where we could possibly slip up. Um, they're a good side. Adam Lakeland there, he's done a number on us a couple of times. It was just one of those. It was not. I think they left the grass a little bit longer, and a few of our fans sort of noticed that it looked a little bit long, a little bit bobbly for both teams as well, because their striker ran through on goal, should have scored, and it took a massive bobble, and he put it in the car
Yeah.
park behind the goal. So it was one of those. But
Can
again,
I just say it's a bit rich from us to complain about a playing surface?
Yeah, to say, your beach at Attis Arena.
Just chuck that one in there. Like,
Very
Yeah,
true.
fucking hell.
By the way, the
Very
guy
true.
who scored gold on Mateo, they bought him from Kidderminster Harriers. So maybe he was,
And he was a threat when he was on the ball. When the ball came into the box to him, there was no denying where the ball was gonna end up.
yeah, but there was no need for the PA to play gold, was there, when he started
I
that?
missed that one, but
only
yeah. So I was probably too busy spitting my dummy out at the time. So
Well, did you hear what they played at full time? Shocking, mate.
yeah, they did that last season as well. So
Is
it's
What
one of
was
those,
it?
Elton John? I guess that's
the
why they
Blues,
called it the Blues.
Max and
We
Paddy
were like
White.
crying, literally crying our eyes out. Yeah, like nice one,
But
lads. Cheers.
they we had a few chances. We had some good chances. Without a prominent figure up front. I really like Beeston, but he's not an out and out striker for me.
No.
Um, Carlton, he's a bit part. 1 minute he looks like he could play as a striker. The next minute you think, no, he's a winger. Um, Whitehall, when he came on for the last 20 minutes, he did what he could. He tried, but it was one of those. To me, he didn't look fully fit. He looked
I
like he
thought
was.
I thought Andy Boyce was probably our best striker on Friday.
Whitehall looked like he was holding himself back a little bit, which is understandable. He's been out for quite a long time now, but we just need him back. Hopefully, firing, because we're at a point now where we are still in it, but we need to win, and we need obviously results to go our way, with the other two as well. So yeah, really frustrating position to be in. We are still in it, so we've got to keep that in mind. There's going to be nerves at the other two, whether you guys accept that or not. But I generally think they will play a part. It will go down. I think it'll still go down to the last day. It won't be over till then. And I think we'll still be in it last day because I think we will win on Saturday. But I think Hereford will be a really tricky fixture for us. Hopefully it is for Kidderminster, and hopefully Leamington is as well for Brackley. So we can see we still remain optimistic, but it's a really tall order now for us to go and win the title.
if Scunthorpe don't go up, is that the end of Andy Butler? Or what do you
I
reckon?
think so. No, this is his first season in professional management. This is his first season with a senior men's team. I'd be extremely surprised if he's judged on this. I mean, the only mitigating factor is, of course, Jimmy Dean lost his job at the end of last season, having finished second with 88 points and a failed playoff campaign. So if that's the standard, then you would probably suggest he would be. But no, gut feeling, Ben. I don't know what you think, but I think Butler would be given at least a 5 to 10 games for next season, regardless of how this season finishes.
I think he would as well, just because of the contract extension he signed as well
Yeah.
at the start of the season. That was till the end of next season. So it's again, it's if you keep sacking manager, you're going to end up back in the same position. The playing budget then takes a massive hit.
Mm.
So I think he'd be given next season to, like you say, probably that 10 games and see where we're at then. But yeah, gut feeling, I don't think he would get. It'd have to be a real disaster, I think, for him to lose his job. Whether I agree with that or not, I'm not sure. It's one of those. As I've said a few times before, I expected us to win the league. I expect us to win promotion. Either way you take, if it is through the playoffs, then you take that. But it's difficult because it's a decision that the board would probably have to make, but I don't think that they would go away from him being their man, if I'm honest.
For me,
if you go up,
can I
do
just
you,
put
do you
you-
think you?
Sorry,
Sorry,
Will. No, it's all right. Will.
I was going to say, if you go up, do you think you would keep him? Because obviously, I've seen a lot of your fans saying Havre football's pretty turgid and not great. 5 at the back, home and away. Do you reckon if you got to National League, you would still keep him and have faith in keeping you in there?
Yeah, I think it'd still. I mean, if you get promoted, that's the job at the end of the day. It's a results business. However you win, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean,
Well,
so
I
long
was gonna say, what a lot-
as long as we win, if we got promoted, that'll be the objective at the start of the season. Promotion. If you achieve that, then you can't really. I don't think you could really sack him off the back of a
No.
promotion. That'd be a bit harsh.
What about if Phil Brown was available because he didn't go up? Do you reckon that would?
No,
You
I
reckon
don't, I
you
don't
get-
think so, mate. I think they've decided again whether Ben agrees with it or not. My opinions. I mean, my opinions are I thought we'd finish 5th, and I didn't think we'd get promoted. So our kind of performance is, if I'm being honest, I know I'm in a minority here, is in line with what I expected, given the fact that it was Andy Butler's first season in senior management. And I don't think you can. But I think that has to be taken into consideration. You could talk to me about the fact that our squad is as good as it is, but it's still a manager who's in the infancy of his career. So for me, I think 3rd is about par, really, for what we could have expected. Now, I know I'll be in a minority there, but in terms of the question you specifically asked, I think he's their horse. I think he's the horse that the ownership at Scunthorpe United are backing. I think they backed him at the start of the season. They gave him the contract extension after 10 games. I mean, I say contract extension. It turns out he didn't even have a contract in the first place. It was a verbal agreement.
Oh, really?
Can you believe that? Like Benson and Hedges stuff. But then we've got him signed until next season. And yeah, I'd be astounded, mate, if he's not here, whatever league we're in.
Do you think National League North was too much for him to start with?
I think that this is in my opinion, but I think it's extreme to say if we don't go up, it's the end of the world. 3rd is still a relatively high finish, so I think it'd be unfair to say this level's too high for him. I mean, he would turn around to the ownership and say, "Look, I've got you in the playoffs. I mean, we weren't a million miles off. If certain decisions had gone our way, you can spin it however you want to spin it, but I think it would be unfair to say this season has been a complete failure, regardless of how these last 2 games go. That's my opinion, Ben.
I think a club of your size, not going up, is abject failure. I think it was a risk having taking him on board. Going to the Access Arena and seeing 5, 6, 7,000 people there. I genuinely, the Scunny fans have been some of the nicest and most the greatest fans, home and away. But actually, I do it genuinely not being patronising, but I worry if you don't go up this year, what happens? Because a lot of your players are going to go. You're going to be similar level to.
We'll be a National League North team, Will.
Yeah, that's it. That's what's going to be. But the thing is, your infrastructure is not that. Your ground, all of that is miles above National League North. It's I don't know. It's it's going to be horrible if you don't.
But Ben, on that, don't you think it's a bit? If that is the truth, which it may or may not be, you're asking a lot of a manager in his first season, aren't you?
It's difficult because, like I said, I expected us to win promotion. I generally really expected us to be top of the league, and if we're not top of the league, you've got to win the playoffs. Like you said earlier,
which you still might, by the way. We're still you're not going to, but you could still win the playoffs.
It's not over yet.
Okay. Yeah. Like as you said, sacking Jimmy Dean, it sets a precedent promotion is the only real option this season. So I still don't think he will be sacked if we were to not win promotion. Although I personally, as the other two said, I think that probably is failure, because my expectation, probably the board's expectation, is to win promotion, because I think the budget will be significantly reduced if we don't go up. It'll be a more realistic budget in line with the crowds and the other in the level that we're at. And obviously, there's a lot of players out of contract, so it'll be really interesting to see how the turnover of players, and how that might be another really interesting factor of Andy Butler's tenure, to see how he would come out the end of a massive player turnover, which I think there probably will be at the end of the season.
Wes, can I ask you the same question? If you don't go up from the position you're in now, will that be deemed as an unprecedented failure?
If we don't go up in the situation we're in, it would. Sorry, my dogs are barking for some reason. I think it would be. Would they get rid of Phil Brown and Neil? Phil and Neil, they're the dream team. No, I don't think they would. Would Phil walk? I don't think he would do. But Phil wants to get in the Premier League, and he's not going to do that from Kidderminster Harriers. There's going to be another step there somewhere, probably into the Championship or something. But he's 65. He's got a new kid. He's literally got a new kid. He's still working, Phil. He's still working in all possible ways.
Sorry, Phil thinks he's getting back in the Championship or Premier League.
No, I'm saying that.
Okay.
But I think in his head he'd love
just
to do
checking he's not on acid or anything.
No.
But hold on, he's just had a new kid. He's
had a new kid. Yeah, 65, banging it out. You should see his missus though. Gee.
Hello, to be honest, he's got that. He's got the charm, hasn't he?
He's got the northeast charm, you know.
But he's got all the
absolute cutting edge. Absolute cutting edge.
It just
kid comes out look like Ashley Hemmings.
Yeah, so if that were to happen,
delete that.
So Wes, what was Kidderminster's expectation before the start of the season? Was yours to win the league?
Get up whichever way. I still think we'll get up, even if we don't win the league. I think we'll still go up either way. I think we'll still win the playoffs. It's just because Phil is a master of the. Who taught Phil about football management? Sam Allardyce, the master of the dark arts. So we literally are dark arts central right now. That's why I know. Absolutely, that's why I know we're going up.
What about over at Brackley then, Will? Because after the first 10 so games, you were round mid-table-ish, weren't you?
We had a very, very difficult start. Like our fixtures were really difficult at the beginning, slightly easier towards the end. But so Gavin and his team, we're so in touch with the fans, and there's it was such a good relationship. He's never had a time where people turned on him and were like, "Oh, you're not good enough," blah blah blah. When we had Roger Johnson before him, there was most definitely that. People fell out of Roger Johnson. They didn't like him. He was arrogant. He was a tosser, an absolute tosser. Whereas with Gavin, people, he was like, "Look, we're not going to win it this year." He said this last year. We're not going to win it this year. I need to build a team, but I need to get used to how we play. The way he does it is as professional as they can be. I think the fact we're second at the moment is incredible. I think if we, by 5 p.m. tomorrow, all of us will know who's in on the league on the last day. We will know. It's just a case. Hereford will need to raise their game massively to even compete with Kiddie. Scunny again. You've got Peterborough Sports tomorrow. You win that. Leamington, very tough decision, a very tough team for us. I just feel as though we're relatively. I'm not happy with the playoffs, but that's where we are. That's overachieving. If we come second, we're overachieving. If we come third, we're overachieving. So it's going to be a fucking horrible 24 hours for all of us. 100%. It's not going to be lovely. Obviously for Wesley it will be, because they're going to fucking take Hereford 3-4-0 and he'll be absolutely buzzing.
I think Hereford are going to get something at Kiddie.
Oh, shut up, Andy. You said that.
I would love it. I would love it if Hereford got something.
Right, let's finish off. Let's finish the chat off by let's each chucking in our title winners and our predicted playoff winners. So, Will, if I can kick off with you, who do you think will win the league and who do you think will win the playoffs?
I think Kidderminster will win the league, and I think Buxton will win the playoffs.
Okay, and Wesley, what are you going for?
Harriers for the title, and I don't
Shock.
who else is in the playoffs. I don't even know anymore. I don't care who else is in the playoffs.
Well, you'd have
Brackley, yeah.
or, Chester, Hereford, Kings Lynn, and Buxton, your current teams, but Chorley and Curzon are not out of it.
Something about Chester. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. They
Scumbags.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. So no, we're not saying them. I think probably. Do you know what, Kings Lynn? We got turned over there 4-0. I was there. I screamed at the players when they came over to say sorry. I just started screaming at them. So I don't know.
Weird that, because you don't strike me as a guy who's not.
No. I literally said, "Don't you ever do that again?" And then they were just like going, "We're so sorry." I was like, "Yeah, you damn right." So to answer your question, I'd like to see Brackley go up. To be honest, Scunthorpe can stay in that league for another season. That'd be nice. Of course, I'm saying all this, and if it all turns on me, I don't care because I'm having the best time, and I don't care. And you would never give up hope. It says on my arm. If you can see that, never give up hope.
Yeah.
So listen, it's a hope that kills you, but hopefully, fingers crossed, 2 more games, it won't kill me.
You're going Brackley playoffs?
Yep. Yeah, why not? Oh, let's go for it.
Ben, what are you going for?
I really don't want to answer.
It's cancelled. It's all cancelled.
I think Brackley will win the league
I do too.
because I think that Kidderminster it's going to be a really difficult game against. I think Will's played it down massively. I think Kidderminster, the fact it's a derby, I think that's a massive factor. And then Brackley have got obviously Farsley last game of the season, which is you expect is probably going to be a walkover. And then the playoffs, you got to have some faith, I suppose. So we'll say we'll go to Kidderminster and beat them in the playoffs.
I think Will
After a mad ticket scramble.
Is Ben okay? Are you okay, Ben?
I think Will has massively played that Kidderminster game down because I expect it from Wes. I mean, Wes is tapped, but it being a local derby, and Hereford are a decent team. I expect that will be a draw, and
Did you see Hereford against Harriers on Boxing Day? Did you see
no,
that?
mate. No, mate.
Did you see the 3 goals we scored against them? Did you see the 3 goals we scored against them? 3 of the best goals you'll see this season, my friend. We'll do it all again tomorrow.
So I'm going to go Brackley to win the league for me, and I'm also I'm backing Scunthorpe to win the playoffs. So what have we got there? We've got Kidderminster to win the league twice. We've got Brackley to win the league twice. Scunny to go up twice in the playoffs, and I've got Kings Lynn and Buxton also. So I guess what we're saying is it could be anyone's. Nobody's got Scunny to win the league, have they?
Andy, can we do this again on Friday? Just we all know where we are. Can we do it again on Friday? Is that okay? Do you think?
No. See how it goes. Tomorrow, Wesley.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Brackley score 20 goals. That'd be nice, wouldn't
it? Imagine if they overturn that goal difference.
22-0 against Farsley. Fucking hell.
Literally.
Stranger things have happened.
I would buy a Brackley shirt, my friend, if they score 20 goals in one game. That'd be amazing. Also, you got to be looking at that and thinking, are you sure?
Yeah, right. Well, I think we'll draw it to a close. Thank you so much, Wes, Ben, and of course, Will. It's been a pleasure, kind of. We'll see you on the other side. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, guys. Just a game.
Cheers, thank you.
Up the iron.